Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to another tutorial. It's actually been a little while since I've made one. This is going to be the start of a dribbling tutorial series on the channel, so do let me know what you'd like me to cover next. I do plan on going through quite a few different dribbling mechanics here, but we're starting today with shot cancels and step-over cancels. One of the harder mechanics to perform in terms of dribbling, I think. Also the best, bar none, by far, no question. Shot cancels in particular, I think, are just the best dribbling mechanic. So let's take a look at what they are. That's just you're shooting, and then you cancel with L2, R2. That's it. They're a little bit tricky to perform. This is something that I don't think is meant to happen with the game. It's not like EA coded this to be an actual mechanic. It's just a result of two other mechanics existing in the system and how they interact together. It's almost if you've played like Rocket League or Overwatch, a game that's got wave dashing, or competitive Smash, which has like desyncing and wave dashing, something like that. The system can't stop you from doing it, which makes it a little bit harder to perform on the controller because it's kind of awkward. Again, you're not meant to, but it's incredibly effective in game. Again, also I think because it's not meant to happen, and it does something weird with the AI. I get past opponents' tackles way more frequently with this. I get successfully past the opponent's AI if they're not manually controlling the player way more with this. It almost, to me, feels like it cues a block animation from the opponent. And the block animation never actually occurs because there's no shot to actually block. But it, like, cues it, and then the opponent, like, kind of goes into a little bit of just a poor animation, not one that's good for the actual situation to defend the dribble. And they take just an extra half a second or whatever to come out of that animation and get back into something normal. So, to cover what the mechanic is, again, we're just pressing circle and then L2, R2. L2, R2 is a hard cancel, so that's how you do McGeady cancels instead of doing a normal McGeady turn. Halfway through, L2, R2. Here's this one, you flick back on the right stick twice, you'll do this little turn around. But you can cancel that as well. Same with the kind of 3-touch McGeady turn, Burba turn, whatever they called this, stop and turn something. That was added this year. You can also cancel out of that, L2, R2. So it's a general mechanic that's worth knowing. Both for skill moves, but also sometimes other things. You can prevent your player from running at the ball if you don't want them to, use a bunch of stamina and go after it if they shouldn't. Come on, I'm misperforming it here. Just want to show off the other version. You can't cancel every skill move, so that is worth knowing. But even that one, you see, you can cancel out of it, turn a different direction. So it's the same idea with doing a shot, but you get that little gray line on the field. That means your shot has been cued, and then you cancel out of it. So a couple things to know about them before we dive really deep into them. First of all, it's, I'd say like 80% impossible to perform them in your own half. Obviously 80% impossible isn't how statistics work, but most of the time in your own half, it'll just cue a clearance. Now, you can cancel it if you're really, really quick. And also, you get lucky with the animation not choosing. Yeah, see, it's not by any means something that's guaranteed to happen. So I don't recommend ever doing them in your own half. You can. I want to see if I can get an example just to show it off. Because I tried this out the other day, and it's like a clearance cancel. But you have to press the buttons ridiculously fast, and again, there's no guarantee. So only something to perform in the opponent's half, I would say, where the actual shot can happen. But it doesn't matter where you're aiming, it doesn't matter where in this half you are, it doesn't matter with which player. It registers a shot no matter what, and I can be aiming at my own. Okay, and they are a little tricky to perform, we'll talk about that. I could be aiming at the touchline here. Okay, there's your shot cancel, does the same exact thing. Now, they are, again, a tougher mechanic to perform on the controller, so just be wary. Sometimes if you do misperform them, you'll just accidentally get a shot. So there's that slight element of risk, especially while you're learning it. You can see, really haven't messed one up here yet, so you can definitely master it and not get any accidental shots that you aren't actually asking for. But again, I just find this especially effective, not quite in that instance, but again, and no dribbling mechanic in the game is guaranteed, of course, but these are just ridiculously effective to the point of being, essentially, if I'm not using this in and around the box, I'm almost putting myself at a disadvantage because I might as well just do this in every other instance, which I find kind of boring. Honestly, I don't want to press the same buttons on every attack, so I like mixing it up with L2, R2, L1, some of the other dribbling methods. But honestly, I've talked in a couple of my other tutorials about L2, R2, and you see it's your your player travels a little bit faster, but they're much less responsive and it's less guaranteed where they go. Shot cancels are just better. Shot cancels are just better. Again, more responsive. They get more touches on the ball in a short space of time. You'll see I'm almost able to get like 2-3 touches in this small little turning radius that I can't always get with L2, R2. Sometimes if I'm doing just normal, again, this is agile dribbling L2, R2. Every once in a while I'll get just a heavier version of it than I'm asking for. And it doesn't do the same weird little thing to the opponent's AI. See, some of these are really quick, but then some of them, the player's taking like 2 or 3 touches, or 2 or 3 steps before they're getting another touch on the ball. Shot cancels don't have that problem with. Now, there are some players in the game who perform shot cancels better than others. I find that, unfortunately, the 99 dribbling Mata is like an A-tier shot canceller, whereas Rodrigo and Lookman I'd classify as S-tier. But there's basically no dribbler that I've used in the game that is lower than A-tier. So I'll say sometimes like, oh, this player's got maybe S-tier skill moves, but B or C-tier normal dribbling, or, you know, left stick or L2, R2. There's no player in the game, again, that I would consider being worthy of using on offense that will perform a shot cancel poorly. These are one of the mechanics that's almost kind of equal in that regard. Of course, if I get it with 86 dribbling Gilmore here, who doesn't have a dribbling chem style, he's not going to perform it as well. He doesn't have the same agility stat and all of that. So you see, there's an effectiveness to it, but he's not going to get like touch after touch on the ball that, you know, Lookman and Rodrigo will. Vitinha with 91 dribbling, he's going to perform them a little bit quicker, but still have, you know, slight imperfections to them that you're not going to get quite as well out of the cards like El Shaarawy or Mahrez that I have dribbling chem styles on. Trying to get to Mahrez here. Shot. That wasn't where I wanted. It works. Try to show off the same mechanic. You'll see he's performing these very well, and they do look pretty similar throughout most of my front line here. Vitinha included in that too. But Lookman, there's just an extra. It's not like the shot cancel itself is necessarily better, but the touches after are going to be slightly better with Lookman, so there's, you know, an advantage to performing them with him, as he's got that 99 dribbling. There was an example of the accidental. I misperformed it. Now, if you are worried about getting the timing window wrong and just accidentally taking shots, I personally perform them as quick as I can. So just absolutely tap the circle button as quick as you can, L2, R2, right after, to make sure it's performing the mechanic as quick as you can, kind of as responsive as you can. I do it almost reacting to the opponent's defending style or how close they're getting to me. So just perform it as quick on the controller just as a reaction for me. But if you power up your shot, you can extend the cancel window out a little bit. So instead of doing like tap, have to cancel really quick, pressing the buttons as quick as you can, hold it down, you can extend it out, you can delay it. You almost give yourself maybe a little bit more time to react. It's like, I think an opponent's coming at me, but they haven't yet. Okay, there we go. That's when I can press the buttons down, and at the same time, you're flicking the left stick in whatever direction you want to start moving. So there's no real benefit that I've found to doing these, you know, head on to somebody. I don't think it manipulates their AI in that way. It's all about like pulling out a block animation when the opponent shouldn't be doing one, or dancing around their tackle. And I'll show you plenty of examples of how effective this is at getting past stand tackles. But these are, yeah, just by far the best mechanic in the game. They do something weird with the AI, I'm telling you. Well, again, look at plenty of examples. These are, if you had to learn one, like, more difficult mechanic, I definitely still recommend, you know, messing around with your L1, your L2, R2. Those I find more useful in, like, further up the field. When you've got more space, I don't really do shot cancels, you know, close to the touchline when I've got space anyway. I don't really consider them necessary in that regard, because I could pull out a variety of different skill moves, even just ball rolls, body feints, anything like that. But when you're close in the box and you're surrounded by a couple players, and that's basically the only way to get your player to get 3, 4, 5 touches on the ball as quick as they can to make sure you're actually dancing around, these are the best thing to do. Now, this is a video basically entirely on shot cancels, but I do want to cover step over cancels as we're here. So step overs, you're doing them by putting the right stick front or up ahead of your player, and then it's a 45 degree turn from, up to left or up to right, doesn't matter which direction. If you just keep continuing in the same direction on the left stick, they'll do this little 3 version and then we'll just keep walking. You'll see I can cancel out of that earlier by going off to the side. You can let 2 come off, you can let all 3 come off, you can only let 1 happen. An example of 1. And you can turn them or, quote unquote cancel them in any direction you want, so we can go straight back, back diagonal, anything like that. Same mechanic though with L2, R2. And you'll see the player Lookman here does something kind of weird with his feet as he does the cancel. Does something similar to the opponent's AI. It does kind of something to adjust them or manipulate them, but it doesn't pull out that block animation, so I don't consider them as effective. This is, again, mostly on shot cancels, but if you want to integrate them into your game, what I'd say is if you are face up with an opponent, like walking at them and almost want to bait them in, that's when your step over cancel is going to be a little more effective than your shot cancel. It's basically an invitation of just going, hey, I'm going to do something, and then I've got the ability to cancel out of it and around you. I'm not actually doing it right here. Let's see if I can get an example. But it's kind of similar to the extending out your shot. So you do that, you just hold down the button longer, and then cancel out of it. Similar concept with the step over cancel, I'd say. Like, it gives you some greater ability to delay it so you can time it exactly when you want, as opposed to doing it as a purely kind of reactionary thing. But they're not as powerful because they don't cue that little block animation from the opponent's AI. So you'll see, able to get these to work. If you're in a little bit more space, you can use these as a method of mixing up your game. They're definitely confusing to the opponent because they don't quite look right on the field. And, again, kind of more of an open space thing, or I'm walking right at you and I want to almost invite you into this challenge. Any other instance, though, I'm mostly using these cancels as a get out of jail free kind of thing, of just, oh, I'm getting charged down, let me escape, I've got no space here. For what it's worth, do I like that these exist in the game? No, these are kinds of silly mechanics. As much as I pride myself as a dribbler, if normal left stick was good enough, I would just be a normal left stick dribbler. I don't personally like that you have to learn 17 different, dribbling modifiers. L2, R2, L1, normal left stick, L2, R1, anything like that. On top of adding this into your normal dribbling, and this, and then step over cancels, and 17 other skill moves. Not just for fun or flair, but like required as the only method to consistently get your player into, dribble at a certain angle or with a certain speed. Dribbling this year is really weird. I do miss some of the older dribbling. So I understand if these are like, this is a really weird mechanic. For me, this is something I haven't actually wanted to learn. Last year, I didn't learn these at all, and shot cancels were just as effective last year. They just weren't important enough for me to include because I had enough other dribbling things that worked that I didn't need to learn every single one, and these I can consider kind of silly. This year, I almost consider them absolutely necessary and vital. It's like a necessary evil to me. I don't have any other method this year of turning this quickly. There's a penalty. Any other method this year of turning this quickly, of being this consistent getting around opponents' stand tackles. All of that being said, might have waffled a little bit. Let's get into some clips here. Alright, so let's dig into some highlights here. Starting off with Adamola Lookman. Well, you can see sent the tackle the one way. Next one, the AI doesn't respond at all. Final one, the opponent's jockey doesn't respond at all. So this is a little complicated to explain, but kind of the more I look at dribbling, the more I see, like, I recognize the patterns of how the players move and everything like that. So this one here, just completely sent, and the opponent's got such a bad animation out of it. I feel, and you'll see throughout these clips, I feel like the shot cancel just makes the stand tackle less accurate, like people aim to the wrong spot for it. This could have been user error on the opponent's part, but again, this happens frequently enough where I feel like something makes the opponent's AI or the opponent able to aim their stand tackle, make something weird with that. So we see completely send the one player. I could have taken a shot here, of course. But we're showboating a little bit, and for the second one, the opponent's AI Again, he's not controlling this player at all. They don't react whatsoever. And if you've tried any amount of dribbling in the box when there's no space, anywhere where you're congested, I think you'd be familiar with the fact that the AI tends to not necessarily lock on, but respond a lot better to you. And I almost feel like the opponent here, or rather the opponent's AI, is trying to come all the way across for a block.
Try a couple shot cancels.
I don't know if we can quite see that. You don't have to agree with me necessarily that it's a block animation.
Try a couple shot cancels.
But they're trying to get goal side, and sometimes the AI here, when they're not controlling it, the AI will walk closer to you. It's not like the AI is going to perform a tackle necessarily on the opponent's behalf, right? It's not that egregious this year. It's pretty egregious, but it's not that bad. But there's just a shifting completely of them out of the way as if they don't react to what you're doing. It's like you're telling them you are performing a shot, and their entire job here is just getting goal side. They get goal side, they get in front, between you and the goal, completely able to walk around once again. I just feel if I do normal L2, R2 here, an agile dribble, or another skill move, the opponent's AI reacts in a better way here. You can see here, same kind of thing. If you're using jockey, which it looks like the opponent's doing, I think he's holding L2 as he's moving. Normally, holding L2 for defending kind of reacts you to what the opponent's doing. And I think it's the shot cancel that sends the opponent, where they just walk without any kind of reaction whatsoever. Now that's partially an error on the opponent's part for not aiming the left stick better, protecting the skill move and actually going where I'm going, or, reacting to it. But I also think, normally when you're holding L2, the game handholds you a little bit and guides you towards the ball. Whereas here, just sent completely the wrong way. No reaction 3 times in a row in the box that whole time. You see here me kind of dancing around with Mata, trying out a couple skill moves, not really able to generate anything. 2 shot cancels, walk on by. Again, no reaction. So I think that's the main thing I want to highlight. No AI, hand-holding, no benefit to the opponent, they don't throw me off balance, they don't touch me, there's no bump, there's no stand tackle that even just shrugs me off a little bit. My player doesn't react to their stand tackle in a way that makes my balance worse. They just stay completely upright, and that's a big thing. We're going to talk about that later. But I just stay upright, able to react, able to go into the next thing perfectly fine. You see, just the frequency, but the amount of touches I'm getting on the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's that little 4, 5 that is massive to me with a shot cancel. You see, he's got the one little touch on the left foot, right into the touch on the right, and that's the acceleration I need. If that's an L2, R2, he probably gets the touch on the left foot as quickly, and then it's just an extra half a second until he gets it on the right foot. I might be getting caught up here. Especially because this is Mata, no pace chem style, no quick step, no rapid. The opponent probably catches back up. If this isn't turned into a perfect dribble where I'm just at walking pace or at jogging pace to get on by. And you see again, I think it just kind of adjusts that opponent's AI. They don't react in the way that they're supposed to. It does something with the, the coding of the opponent. Same thing there. And again, you might think this is a poorly aimed stand tackle, and it is. But without the shot cancel, I think this is aimed at least a little bit closer to me. And maybe that throws me off enough where I can't quite get the perfect shot. But it's just completely the wrong way. I'm not here anymore. And I think that's almost an AI thing. As if the AI guides the direction of the left stick for the stand tackle a little bit. It's like if you use assisted precision or manual shooting. It's almost like stand tackles normally are kind of assisted, and stand tackles, when you're performing them against the shot cancel, are closer to precision. If that makes sense, they're just you've got to be a little bit more careful on the left stick. Without the shot cancel, the AI might be assisting the opponent to making the tackle a little bit closer to where I am. Now, the next thing I want to highlight is just and you can absolutely go ahead and take a look at that with all the clips we've already done. You see how I'm just upright?
Why not?
Perfectly upright here. No hesitation, no adjustment to my acceleration. The slowest one we've had so far is this one. He does it a little bit heavy. And I think that's because I do this little adjustment when I'm just doing the left stick. We do,
It's not the one I meant
let me
to
show it here.
take it.
Slightly this way, slightly this way. And I think it just makes me a little heavy, and that's why the shot cancel comes off a little poorly. I also get slightly nicked, slightly bumped. Next one, perfectly fine though. Again, perfectly upright.
Yeah, that's what the press proven.
Take a look at the next clip again, and we'll see the same thing. It leads me so well into the shot. I don't have to take an additional touch. I don't have to settle. I don't have to readjust my balance. I don't need a little ball roll to make sure I'm at the right balance, the right, body shape to take that shot. I'm perfectly set up into the shooting angle. Like these are all the easiest shots you'll take this year, right? One-on-one against the goalie. You're stood up right perfectly. The opponent doesn't even have time to react to pull the goalie out or really do any goalie movement.
Good shot cancel.
Now that's a little L2R2, I believe, from Rodrigo here. Let's take a look and make sure. Yeah, without a shot cancel. So that's just normal agile dribbling. And you see, it does it right in this instance, where I don't feel I need a shot cancel, because the opponent's already in front of me. So when all I'm doing is this little, downward adjustment, they're already in front of me. The L2R2 is enough here. I'm not really going to advocate for a shot cancel in that instance. There's no AI to manipulate. They're already kind of past you. It's easy enough to just come inside. But in the other instance, this one here, another instance of the stand tackle just being ineffective. And we can see, right? He's got one touch. There's, I believe, a second touch. No, he's standing in the way. But it looks like Rodrigo gets 2 touches here. And I believe that's what walks around the stand tackle like it's nothing. And we can't really see if his left foot gets another touch on the ball. But the point being, adjusted right around the stand tackle. And it's almost like the shot cancel itself reacts to the stand tackle and knows how to walk around it. Like you're giving your player more chances to touch the ball. And the opponent, or your own player themselves, is reacting and just going, oh, there's a stand tackle. I've got enough touches remaining in my stride to adjust the ball enough to just shift it one way or the other on the, the left foot, the right foot. If you think about one of like Messi's 50-yard runs, he starts at the halfway line, and he normally does like, he's got like 1-2 touches, he's got this quick little adjustment. It's your players doing that thing. He's touching the ball every single time he's taking a step kind of thing. Almost like it's glued to your foot, and that's what allows you to react to those stand tackles and just walk beyond them like they're nothing. And we all know how overpowered stand tackles have been this year. Yeah, they're not guaranteed to get you possession back, but they're pretty guaranteed to A, allow you to do a second one with like no penalty. You can just spam the button and never have any problems. And B, you might not get possession, you might get some bounce backs, but you're at least going to probably get your foot on the ball. And if nothing else, knock me off balance enough where you can get another defender who's normally pretty close involved and, start double teaming me from there, something like that. But again, the next thing I want to highlight is just you're perfectly upright, always able to lead into either the next shot or the next skill move. The existence of the shot cancel here originally showed off. Actually, I want to talk about the last one more time. But if this one here, if this is an L2R2, it might be slightly heavier, and I'm not set up as well to do the L2R2 here. So it's the existence of already being at the right body shape, the right balance, and all of that allows me to just L2R2, which sets me up really well. But you kind of see he drops his shoulder a little bit as he's performing. It's a little bit hard to tell. But this is a worse animation than we've seen with most of the shot cancels. This doesn't lead to, the amount of touches on the ball we're talking about, where you're like getting 5 touches in a second, right? Doing these quick little adjustments. He doesn't get off balance from it, partially because the opponent's not close enough to, get any physical contact or anything. And it leads off well to the shot. But if this is an L2R2 after this is an L2R2, the existence of the first one is going to lead the second one to being slightly heavier. If you're already off balance when you're performing the next dribble or skill move, it's going to come off even worse. This one, keeping you perfectly upright, allows you to do something else so well. And that's why you see me taking a shot so frequently after these. Not only is it generating the space, but it's generating the perfect body angle and balance to be able to take that shot. Same thing there. Perfectly around this one stand tackle. as if he's reacting to where the foot is going. And he's got that quick little adjustments. We're looking 1, 2, 3. He's got 3 touches in there and like a ridiculously tight turning radius. 1, 2, 3. Sets up perfect for the shot again. No hindrance to his balance. No poor body shape. Perfect finesse shot opportunity. So if we take a look slightly earlier in the play. Like this is performed well. But he doesn't get as many touches on the ball. You see he's not really using his left foot. While pretty much dominantly using his right there. And sometimes if they're being really heavy on just using the one foot for dribbling, they don't get as many quick touches. Whereas the shot cancel here is performed with the left. He's got the one little touch with the left, but then it's 1 and then 2, 3 on the right foot really quickly. None of these things are things I actually keep in mind while I'm dribbling. I'm not thinking about which foot they really have it on to perform the skill. You know, they're going to do it on their preferred foot pretty much all the time, whatever. It's just that these are the kinds of minute things that it's causing the animations to do for you in-game. And just the shot cancels are slightly more in favor as for like the animation selection, right? So we're able to walk by here, although if the opponent presses tackle with VVD, they'll probably get the ball off of me. But that one waltzes around the tackle, no problem.
The cancels are just...
Keep on going here. Now this one, given that it is a slide tackle in the end, as we walk on by,
Yeah, that's good.
there are probably a myriad of different things I could do here to walk by. You know, the slide tackle here isn't performed well enough. I could do a McGeady cancel, I could do a directional nutmeg, I could do a drag back, and probably a couple other skill moves that aren't coming to mind I could do. But it is really pretty sitting the opponent down with the slide tackle. So just aesthetically, you know, I criticized shot cancels a little bit earlier just for being a weird mechanic. They're not necessarily my favorite. They're not always my favorite to look at in-game. But when they come off nice like this, this is really pretty. This is one of the instances I'm just going, you know, sit down, VVD, get on by. Don't even bother standing back up. I'm just putting the ball in the net, right? That one felt particularly good. Of course, this is 94 Dino, and he's got, you know, top tier dribbling. But it's just that, again, you see, working the perfect angle in the box. And again, yeah, I know, slightly easier as we're getting by a slide tackle. It gives me a lot of space. No hindrance to my body shape whatsoever. Perfectly set up to take this, not off balance, nothing.
That's good. Little shot cancel at the end there too.
So these are just, you know, the L2R2's got a nice ability to it where it like kind of reacts and it gives you some animations that are nice, and you know, it really, it's not strafing. What's a good, you know, you've got some good adjustments where you're keeping your, because what L2R2 does is it kind of faces you up with the goal most of the time, so you can't really perform it with your back to goal, and sometimes that's a nice little benefit. Where shot cancels, you can do it with your back to goal, and again, sometimes that's a little benefit. But the L2R2 will lead you sometimes to a heavy, you know, slightly off balance shot or something like that. Shot cancel, so the L2R2, you know, lots of upsides, some hindrances, some downsides. Shot cancels really doesn't have any of the downsides. You know, the main one being slightly harder to perform and the chance of taking an erroneous shot on accident if you misperform it. So just kind of aesthetically difficult on the hands as well as mechanically difficult to perform. They're a little bit tiring, so just get used to your hands, you know, your fingers kind of pressing buttons maybe they're not used to. But we've got here with Dino. Actually, we start with one with Lookman.
Very well done.
And this is a rare instance of me remembering. Now this is just a problem with me as I'm kind of working these into my game. I forget I can perform them on other spaces of the field, so I'm only really remember, oh, these are the shooting opportunities. Oh yeah, I can shot cancel. You can shot cancel absolutely anywhere out here too. Normally just, again, I've got a pretty big amount of space here. There are several things I could do. I don't normally think of shot cancels because they're ingrained in my brain as like the, you know, you're surrounded type of mechanic to pull out. But again, kind of manipulates that stand tackle, keeps me perfectly upright, able to walk between the center back and the opponent's fullback, no problem.
Little shot cancel there.
I'm not quite at the right angle to take the right shot. I also should probably either try to finesse this or put it near post, or I can chip. A couple other things I can do, but that's all on me.
Very well done.
Cancel itself again. You see how effective? Just getting on beyond those stand tackles like they're nothing.
Don't know how to score my finishes.
So I performed one. This is another kind of problem with the shot cancel. I've got to remember, like, I rely on them pretty heavily when I remember they exist. And then I get pretty heavily going into, oh, let me shot cancel, and then just shot cancel. They're going to be even more effective if it's like shot cancel into McGee cancel into L2R2 into Elastico into shot cancel into roulette into shot cancel, right? If you integrate them into passes, of course, work all of your passing angles into this. You can use the shot cancel to open up a passing lane, take a shot with another player, you know, anything like that. So integrate them into your game. But for me, a lot of times it's like, oh, I finally remembered to use a shot cancel. This might have been the first time in this match, right? Get the ball to Dino a second later. What's on my mind? Shot cancels. So it's taking me a little bit just to kind of work them into the rest of my repertoire. Whereas normally, right now, it's like I either pull them out or I don't, instead of having the right idea to react to pulling them out. Whereas with like the Elastico, normally it's pretty ingrained. This is the exact situation I look for in Elastico. It's a situation on the field that repeats a lot, so I'm used to seeing it. Shot cancels, definitely got to work on like what the exact situations for pulling them out are. Now, of course, you could just say the right situation for them is pretty much every situation. They seem to be the most effective. But there are benefits to your other skill moves, right? The spacing is a little bit different. They take you to slightly different angles. Of course, something really nice about like a ball roll or an L1 heel to heel or something like that. It's always the exact same angle. It always takes you the exact same distance. They're really, really predictable in that regard. Whereas a shot cancel, little unpredictable. You can't predict how many touches your player is going to get on the ball. So it might, you know, you got to react to, oh, it traveled me this distance and it did it at this exact angle. Again, you can predict that the body shape and the, you know, balance of your player is going to be really, really set, like perfectly for the next thing. But for working something like, you know, the exact angle of getting past an opponent, the skill moves are, you know, more guaranteed, quote unquote. So normally in a situation like this, I've already got a skill move in mind. This one though, got shot cancels on the brain, pulling them out, and we just see walking by again 2 stand tackles like they're nothing. This is an open space one, just kind of trying to adjust the body shape a little bit in a way that communicates to the opponent, you know, makes them panic. Oh, Dino just moved a little bit quicker than they expected. Maybe I'm going to have to react. And they go all the way across, guarding a shooting opportunity. Again, perhaps, maybe that's what the opponent would have done anyway, but perhaps because, oh, that was a really quick cut, I'm actually really worried that's the Trivella angle, right? So they go to guard that Trivella. Where does that open up? Back down here. Normal, you know, just not really needing to do shot cancel here. But the opponent does that little adjustment of, oh, I've aimed back down this way. They're going to react and come all the way out to me now. Shot cancel, gets beyond that stand tackle. And again, I feel like it tells the opponent's AI to make the stand tackle poorly or aim it at the wrong spot. So we've got Rudiger here, just completely wrong. He almost glides too. It kind of looks like he's on ice. Such a weird little stand tackle there. He keeps traveling with this forward momentum. So he's going this way the whole time as he's like sticking his leg out there. This one with Kanate, now keep in mind, that's Trivella plus Kanate. This is one of the Evoed ones. That's not the new Anticipate Plus Winter Champions card, whatever it was. So maybe the Anticipate Plus does a better tackle here, but as it is, walk beyond that perfectly. 10 out of 10, no notes, no problem. Again, we almost look like this Kanate is on ice. And this animation's a little weird if you ask me. Just kind of gets sent beyond Dino. Normally the stand tackle kind of stops you. I would expect Kanate to stop around the top of the box. Kanate goes all the way out here. It looks very strange to me. Yeah, again, walking by it like it's nothing. And Dino here, 1, 2, 3. It's the existence of the first 2 that walk me past the tackle here. But it's only because the third one is taken so quickly there, and then there's even a settling 4th that gets me the right angle for the shot. So again, perfectly upright, able to take additional touches beyond that once I'm past the tackle to get at the shooting angle. Because if it's anything else, if it's because I could do an L1, let's see. This could be an L1 heel to heel to try to get up into the space. This could be a lock rocado. But either of those, it could be like a roulette. But any of those are going to set me maybe a little bit off balance as I have to turn back the other way. There's this. Balance is perfect. Able to take that shot, no problem. I've only got a couple here left, and I apologize for the kit clash in this one. I really do, so shield your eyes. Can't believe EA thinks that the opponent, because there are stripes on the kit, this counts as a gray kit apparently, and mine was a white kit. That's a shame. But you see me doing quite a dance with Dino. Not really able to generate anything, and then you kind of see my brain working through it again. We've got a couple body feints and stuff. There's a McGee to cancel later on. My brain eventually remembers, oh yeah, shot cancels are a thing. Let me try those out, because the rest of the skill moves are working. I'm holding on to possession, but I'm not actually really getting anywhere. So all of a sudden, get by, there's your shooting angle. That was 3 shot cancels, and then a little L2, R2. We're looking... I had 1 cancel, there's a second one, here's a third. Gets sent, sand tackle, once again queued, misses. There's another one. Now sand tackle, of course, not against the shot cancel at the end. But it's the existence of that one sets me up perfect. I've got the right body shape, everything sets up, everything works out so well. Without the cancel, I can't really think of anything else that would have worked there. You know, you can try just normal L2, R2, you could try L1. They could work, but they're going to require some additional wiggles, I would say. You'd need an additional skill move or something. Even just a body, like a body feint or a ball roll, just to settle, anything like that. Shot cancel, you use it, you get your space. The end. I think we've got 2 clips left. Again, working some skill moves in with Lookman. Get in a situation like this. What skill move is going to work? Well, maybe I can McGee to cancel back down this way. Is it really going to work, though? Let's do 2 shot cancels. You know, where wasn't the space? Well, was I able to go between here and the fullback? Not really. I mean, partially because Hansen's in the way and that might mess something up, but also the space isn't there. Go back. Go for it again. Where's the space? It's here. Because the AI has swapped which center back is right and which center back is left-sided. And it's just the existence of going back and walking back forward again. You know, where's the space? Well, this looks like a 4-5-1. Space is between the two, you know, the defensive line and the midfield line. No need to keep going to the defensive line. That's where it's compact. That's where they're ready to defend you. You walk on back. Generate a little space to walk forward, get your momentum, shift them all around. Now, I almost don't predict this to come off as well as it does. And then I take my shot poorly.
Yeah, oh, I don't score the shot.
So I actually had more room to continue walking. Although this one, for what it's worth, because the opponent's fullback starts coming in on this one, probably got to do like a fake shot or a ball roll just to get against the angle here and get a better shot so you can shoot that far post. So it doesn't really do anything to mess up the opponent's fullback AI. You can see this jockey here with Kanate, and that is the Anticipate Plus. It's the better defender one. And jockey here has no effectiveness, and they're pressing, like there was a sand tackle already, and then they just walk on by. Sand tackle here. They've got nothing. They're so gone. Like this player is almost a non-factor here. You walk on by him so easily. And it's probably worth mentioning, on top of all the the body shape and the balance I've been mentioning, it's also immediately into jogging speed. Sometimes the L2, R2, even if you're like upright, you don't really have that problem, right? You're slower. You're at like a, what's a good way to show this? You know, if you got the controller and like you could be just moving the left stick like, let's say like 30% input instead of 100% input. It's almost like coming out of the L2, R2 will sometimes put you at that like slight walking speed, like you're as if you're barely pressing anything onto the left stick. Even if you're fully pressing it, the L2, R2 is kind of like put you back at a very slow walk as you adjust back up to your jog speed. It's like the L2, it's like the shot cancel has no adjustment to your jog speed. So you're like, shot cancel, immediately full walking pace. Shot cancel, immediately full walking pace with no slowdown. Now, final one here, and this one's just mostly in the video for showing off that every single instance of shot cancel here has been shot cancel into shooting. And again, it is going to be much more valuable if you work them into the rest of your game. So you don't just have to think of them as, you know, a finishing mechanic. That is what I'm thinking of them as at the moment, and that's something poor for me, something I'm going to have to work on, and something I'm sure I will work on. But we see the little shot cancel. I've baited the one center back to come all the way out across. Opens up space for the passing lane. And he's got such tight control here. Now, it's not the best shot cancel. He doesn't get, like, you know, a lot of touches on the ball. It's actually a little bit slower of a turnaround. But he's set up for it so well out of it. I think if this is an L2 R2 again, then the next set of touches aren't so quick. But it's one shot cancel and then just L2 R2 dribbling. And the next L2 R2, 1, 2, 3, is that quick little adjustment that I think is because you're set up so well from the previous skill move that I can't think of any other mechanic in the game that will set you up that well to continue doing other things afterward. So it's almost like the turn here with the shot cancel is what makes this work. Little passing lane, there you go. So definitely try to work on making these creative as opposed to just kind of the finish to your move, you know, like a final third penalty box, like do one and then shoot. The more you can work them into your game, the better. I think they're just the best mechanic we have. And I think that's all the thoughts I've got on them. Again, I didn't really show off step-over cancels. They are included in this because they're similar, but I think they're like 80% of the move that a shot cancel is, and you might as well just learn and perform shot cancels anyway. But I do hope this helped. This was maybe a little bit longer than it needed to be, but I had a lot that I wanted to cover. And these are a mechanic that I think are really worth covering this in depth anyway. So do let me know if this helped, if you have any feedback, if you want to, me to make these videos in any other type of fashion. You know, including more or less clips, going more or less in depth with them, anything like that, do let me know, because I do plan on making some videos like this in the future. If there are other mechanics you'd like me to cover, if you want me to do specifically tech dribbling or tech shield dribbling or Giddy cancels or elasticos or any other dribbling mechanic you can think of, again, do let me know in the comments. I can try to make that a focus for the next one that I do. But we're at the end here, and I do hope this helped. These are a mechanic that, while I hope all of you go ahead and learn, I don't want to face any of you in Division Rivals 4 or FUT Champs because these are just a nightmare. And I basically haven't faced them this year, so I don't really know what they're like to defend. I just know what they're like to attack with, and they're phenomenal. But again, I do hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.